Welcome back to Slide 2. So it's time to handle the lumberjack games.
After reading through the log chopping guide, it's become painfully clear that to win in the lumberjack games, we'll have to cheat. Now, I've constructed a plan that hinges around us acquiring an eagle's egg, which is more difficult than you'd think. First, Murray needs to lure a bear into taking out the local oil mains. Once destroyed, the pressurized oil should ignite and create updrafts, which Sly will then use to paraglide over to the eagle's nest, grab an egg, and then head back to the safe house.
I get the idea that eagles are not exactly the most friendly when it comes to taking eggs from their nests.
The battery is hidden in a silo nearby. The battery needs some serious modification.
I'm not sure they're that friendly in general.
Yeah.
How bad could it be?
Well, I know that there are occasions where they can be tamed, erased from, from birth, but, it's mostly that, similar to falcons.
Given my electrical engineering background, this plan has a...
That's very reassuring, Bentley.
Pretty good, huh?
Never tell me the odds.
Yeah, never tell me the odds. To be fair, Bentley is the nerd of the team. He needs to say the statistics.
We're gonna get an eagle egg. You'll first have to destroy all the local oil mains.
It looks pretty sturdy. The Murray is strong, but his fists can't...
Give it time.
Yeah.
No problem. See that old bear down there? His name is Grizzleface. The guards ignore him because he's blind and practically nerve dead, except for his sense of smell. If that old guy smells fish, there's no stopping him. Use Grizzleface to take out the oil mains.
But I don't smell like fish, do I? How can I lure him around?
Bentley's taken up a post along the river.
Yeah, this episode is about PSA of saving the trees, has Bentley using bomb fishing.
So
contradictory.
Save the trees, but again, in order to reach our goal, we need to bomb the shit out of the fishes. It's like...
I mean, we're tree huggers, not fish huggers.
Of course.
Exactly. See.
It's like in Star Trek 4. We need to save the whales by removing one of the whales from a piece of time.
I only said that I was trying to save the trees. I never said anything about fish.
Trot old Grizzleface over to the next oil main by luring him with fish.
Fish are always bother.
As long as you order the fish, I don't even know what species it might be. Maybe probably a salmon. The bear will actually follow you pretty docilely, actually. If you toss it onto a guard, the bear will insta-kill it. So if you're in a pinch, you can also deal with that. But you can toss, the main goal is to toss it onto those generators, and the grizzly will just tear it apart, essentially.
Beautiful.
So majestic.
Yes. Nothing to see here.
Just a nipple bringing his pet bear for a ride.
His pet ginormous killer bear.
Yes. Thankfully, there are not much of these machines that they need to destroy, because but you still need to go around all over the place for the map, and the bear actually has to follow you, so you cannot like jump on a higher cliff and expect the bear to follow. You need to actually follow the road properly, which is a bit painful sometimes.
Gotta do what you gotta do, even if that means that the task may be a bit arduous.
Well, it's more arduous for the bear, because, again, even when carry objects, Murray can jump properly, but Grizzleface apparently can't. Ow.
But,
Yes,
I get the picture in the top left on the health bar is meant to be his head, but to me it looks like someone bent a pillow in half.
The stylization of the health bar will become even more detailed when it comes to Thieves in Time. Again, it's one of the quirks of the good things about the presentation, the fact that we took our time to, adjust the game even for those little details in how it looks. It also depends on if a character is wearing a particular outfit. The icon will actually still be stylized around that, which is pretty cool. Here again, it was a simpler hardware to develop, and we wanted to keep things again on a simple level. Okay, I think we should actually be closer to the third generator. Oop.
How did I not see that, man?
Yeah, let's go with that first.
Because you're being attacked by a killer bear right now. That's why.
I'm pretty sure there is an actual program, like on stuff like the sci-fi channel. Sir, you're attacked by a bear or something.
I love how that guard ran the fudge away
nope.
as soon as
Like, nope.
he's shown his light on the bear.
What are you doing, man? Get back to your posts!
Sir, without further ado, there's a giant bear. I'm getting the heck out of Dodge.
What kind of excuse is that, Private? What have I told you about excuses?
I appreciate also the fact...
sorry, I can't exactly hear you because there's a bear about 10 feet behind us, though. Judging by the amount of paces that I've ran, sir, he's probably just a foot behind you. Good luck!
I appreciate the fact that there's no technically friendly fire.
You're fine anyway.
The bear never attacks you, so there's that, thankfully.
Yeah, I was gonna fire him anyway. He was late for dinner, and that is a cardinal sin in my book.
Of course.
It's very convenient how Bentley is able to get you a fish as soon as you
on the
throw
spot.
one, too.
Those bows must be very powerful. There we go.
Very accurate. Jesus! You mauled him to death.
Now that the oil lights are exposed, Sly's all set up for a paragliding job off the lighthouse.
Alright.
Wait, did you say paragliding?
Yes, we're gonna do paragliding.
I don't wanna.
Sorry, no choice.
That lighthouse is the conduit for collecting the northern lights. We need to shut it down, or the
Yeah, before Principal Skinner tries to jam it into his kitchen.
So, you want me to go in there and bust the thing up? Sounds like
no, I want you to redecorate it. What do you think?
Actually, it needs to be done because again, it's a battery. It's filled with acid.
Climbing up to the hatch on top. Once inside, sneak down to the ground floor and let us in. We'll help you finish the job.
All right. See you on the ground.
All right. Basically, like we said, the line is to go on top of the lighthouse and then descend down and open the road for Bentley and Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Well, watch out for the icicles.
Of course.
Unlike in Final Fantasy VII, thankfully we're not sentient.
Sentient icicles.
Remember, that's kind of what happens in 7. Again, when the characters go through the northern cave, there's the place in this too. There's the place where they go on the upper floor, and we have to actually destroy the icicles because otherwise they attack you.
I remember that part of the playthrough. That was the chapter where I, as Yuffie, complained that Cloud was just leaving us all behind to freeze to death.
Yes. Alright, the problem is that the interior of the lighthouse is still full of security, so you need to be careful. Yay.
And pay attention! By the way, Private, do you feel your pockets getting lighter?
Nah, mine feel just fine.
Well, exactly. That's the problem. They shouldn't feel fine because they're
You should be on edge, Private. We've got an intruder at the base. If you're feeling fine, that tells me you're concentrating.
Yeah, there we go. To be fair, again, I've been undetected, so no, they don't know. Oh shit. Well, I retreat.
You saw nothing.
Yes, exactly. You saw nothing. It's
You
weird.
had it when you were to get away.
I guess it's one case it's the automated turret, so it's only programmed to shoot without detecting you. There we go. Yeah. The Cooper gang had to deal with a fucking chair blocking a door.
Just let me at that Northern Light attractor. It'll be slag in minutes.
Not quite that simple, Murray. I'll reverse the
Of course, it's always reversing the polarity with these things.
The main circuit breaker. That should give Sly a short window of opportunity to climb up the power lines and overload the system from the top.
Up, down, up, down. They should put an elevator.
Oh, come
in
on,
this
Sly,
place.
we're this close to quote the Konami code.
Up, down, all around.
Alright, as Bentley said, you need to actually reach the top, but the reversing polarity will not stop the battery from sending electrical discharges, only in selected part of the ropes, meaning that you will have to change very frequently where you're going. I'm trying to.
Sly. We can't keep this thing reversed forever.
Yeah, this is heavier than it looks.
That looked like it hurt.
Ah, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yep, just fine.
Peachy keen. Since all three ropes have intermission between them, it's about deciding where to land next, in order to not find you in a basically a dead end when the discharge happens.
Warning,
There
this
we
is
go.
passageway will have bat.
Basically, it was the game kind of tricking you, because if you actually took the stairs, you would have actually exited the mission. Yes. There we go. I think up next is... Oh, Fly? Okay then.
This is.
I guess he's not as, as cool as he wants him to appear. Alright, I think next up is to get the fabled eagle egg. I wonder if it is different.
I don't want to know.
In order to overcome Jean Bison in the lumberjack games, we'll need to enlist the help of the giant Canadian eagles.
How different are from normal bald eagles, Jova?
Not entirely sure, really.
I don't think they'll fly us to Mordor already.
They're not that big, Dweebs.
Except for the part where I have
They
to
will
swim
still
a
claw
half mile
your
through
face
freezing
out, there's that. It's all about the pressure on the talons.
Combustible materials have just caught fire.
I see. The updraft created by the flame.
Again, this mission about PSAs having the trees has the team lighting up oil barrels that basically create all the smog in the area.
Save the trees and nothing else.
At this point, literally.
Yeah, poison ivy would be a good friend to the
Like if it was just the means to the end to get the talons, that makes perfectly sense and it's in tune with the gang. But they make such a point about, oh no, they're cutting the trees and that's terrible. So that's feels awkward.
Guess they took inspiration from Star Trek 4.
It was like one of the stand-up routines of George Carlin that humanity is so self-important. Save the trees, save the bees, save the whales, save those nails.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Yeah, George Carlin was doing his usual comedy stick at some point in between doing Thomas the Tank Engine.
Not just that, the last roles in his career were that mentor guy in Tarzan 2 and the wizard character of Happily Never After, apparently. That's kind of sad, the note to end your career on.
What are you talking about? Happily Never After was... it was...
Better than the second movie.
Yes, it was better than the second movie, sure I can attest to.
Fucking eagles. And yes, you cannot land anywhere else otherwise. If you land anywhere else other than the island where the eagle lands, it counts as mission failed. So.
Although, speaking of the Happily Never After movies, Pedro.
Yes.
Which do you prefer? Happily Never After 2, Snow White, Another Bite at, and yes, that's an at symbol, because text speech. Another Bite at the Apple, which is gloriously terrible and gave us a lot of commentating riffing material. Or do you prefer the first Happily Never After movie, which gave us the joy-seeing Cinderella punching her stepmother in the boobs?
Yeah,
yes, I heard that.
I already said that very same thing in the commentary, Jova. Exactly that, because of that.
It makes sense. Also, the poor mammoth.
Teo, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a woman push another woman in the boobs? Because I can tell it's quite the interesting sight.
Maybe, accidentally, but...
No, but this is intentional.
Level.
No, this is intentional. Intentional intent to harm.
It's an intentional level.
And it's just so weird because it's out of nowhere. You can tell the intent is just to be your typical punch to the face, but maybe the animators were trolling the director. I don't know what the hell happened there.
The thing is, it would hurt, but not in the same way as other places. It's...
I guess you wanted
I don't
to
get
make
it.
I guess you wanted to make it personal. Sweet, innocent Cinderella finally had enough and punches her stepmother in the breast.
In my defense, in my defense, the movie was so boring. I was just, it was so easy for me even to notice that. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was no. She was tall enough, Shira. That's the thing. There was nothing to distract me from the fact that I just saw a woman push another woman in the boob. Then yes, Vanessa also told me the same thing that Shira just said. Yeah, it would hurt, but not to as much as you're thinking right now. So, I don't...
Anyway... I can mention what is going on, don't worry.
Well, that's the thing about Happily Never After, Tio. See, unlike the second movie, it actually is trying to be a watchable movie. It's just, okay, so we got all these voice actors here, and we did something with them. Happily Never After 2, which doesn't even make sense why there's a Happily Never After 2, because it's not like the first Happily Never After was even a financial success, but for some reason they made a sequel, and Jesus Christ, that movie could literally be a textbook definition of giving up. It is unbelievably terrible. It does not understand any of the mythos whatsoever, and has some of the worst morals you'll ever see in any Bottom media whatsoever.
Not to mention, too, one thing that I also find it interesting in that commentary, Snow White in the second movie starts this little company of helping people, and by helping I don't mean any specific thing. No, just it's literally as vague as what was the name of it, Joe? I forgot the name of the thing that she does, the company thing.
Oh. It's literally about she'll literally help out with anything.
Literally anything, too. And
let me use Linkara's gag in that case. Can you help me move a couch, then?
Yeah, that's it. I went full dirty in that commentary and asked, hey, Snow White, can you pop my cherry for me, KF? No, well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, too. It's literally that vague to the point.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, to quickly mention, what Bentley needs to do, as you see, is to get to 3 different boats where they have these electric cables connected to an anchor the battery, and literally drain the shit out with this electricity. And Jean Bison and his men note nothing of this.
It's all going according to plan.
Of course.
It's this... Oh, sorry.
No, he literally blew that guy to pieces.
Remember, Jova, Bentley is the one that seems to be the more merciless in the team.
Did Bentley just get terribly bullied in school, and this is him
Probably,
taking it out
we're
on the
going for that
world?
stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
It just shows if you're a nerd and it's bullied a lot, you're probably going to become a supervillain or something.
I mean, Jova, it's also another contributing factor to another of the Linkara's theories. Scientists are all evil. And keep in mind, there will be multiple remarks in the entire series where Bentley notices that an evil plan doesn't sound too bad if you really think about it.
Yeah, basically. It's interesting because you'd think it would be easy to make a lot of good fairy tale parodies, considering how badly a lot of these original fairy tales have aged in terms of standards of storytelling, and yet for some reason a lot of movies like those fail at it. Like,
when it comes to the first Happily Never After, it feels like basically their about of trying to make fun of the tales was, oh, look how it's always the same, and doing some obvious stuff like, oh, is Prince Charming really that charming here and there? Spoilers, the prince is actually a decent guy who ends up even paying for the jerkish protagonist in Cinderella's wedding in the end, despite, the movie seemingly trying to set him up as a jerk, even though he isn't really a jerk.
Yeah. One of my favorites... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go on.
Well, when it comes to that kind of, either parodying either fairy tales or just outright, lampooning Disney, there's a Tex Avery show that I really love where he parodies Bambi. Whereas he's talking about how graceful the deer is and all that. Look how the graceful deer sips in the water gracefully, and then the deer literally goes on the water. so you can it's something that can be easily done, especially remember Bambi was at the time the newest Disney movie, so it was a perfect gag to put in there for that short. So,
and speaking of lacking parodies, when it comes to Happily Never After 2, weirdly enough, it feels like they abandoned the parody angle here. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. You have some weird stuff like, oh, they use magic mirrors as cell phones here and there. Hence why there's literally an @ symbol for the bite at the apple thing in the title of that one. And Snow White is a teenage teeny bopper, much to Shiroi's annoyance here and there, who says, holla, and all that jazz here and there. But that's the thing. Aside from basically throwing in more modern, well, more like, old versions of modern stuff here and there, it doesn't even feel like so much that they're parroting it, so much as just, oh, the fairy tales live in this. And let me tell you, Tio, if you hate sequels with terrible continuity, and Happily Never After 2 would drive you up a wall.
Because, I can imagine, judging from what you guys told in the commentary.
Literally, the movie starts off by going to where we left off with the first one, and then literally seconds later... Happened. Well, that's the thing. It acknowledges that stuff happened, but then it completely changes up the stuff here. Like, suddenly the castle is owned by this completely different king. And Snow White, who was mentioned to have already been a factor in the original Happily Never After movie, now is starting off as a kid, even though it's clearly after the events of the first movie where supposedly she was a full-grown adult, and now she doesn't know the dwarves, even though the dwarves already knew her in the first movie, and okay, now Pedro did have a
considering also
theory.
the different titles depending on the country, I get the idea that they wanted to do things just because, for the sake of, attracting the younger audience that might fall for it. Similar to Salzburg, more recent movies.
Which is weird because that movie was direct to video, so if anything, you should be trying to get the clueless parents who buy that stuff in stores' attention.
Oh well.
Well, I mean, it's not just that, but also, Pedro did have a theory that maybe the Snow White that the dwarves were referring to in the original movie
but what happened? What is this Sonic 06 monarchy? I clipped through the floor.
Jesus. Well, that happened.
Yeah, let's never speak of this again, please.
But yeah, I mean, so Pedro had a theory that originally Snow White's mother, who of course dies in it because dead parents are kind of part of the contract here and there, that she was the original Snow White. That would be an interesting theory. I mean, the movie never states it, but anything to try and make heads or tails of that train wreck of a plot here and there.
Mm-hmm. You know what happened there.
And then there are the morals of that movie,
and
but whatever.
It works.
Okay, Sly, maybe you should get off of there before you get
fine.
a lot. Yeah, I'm sure that radiation is good for him.
Now he's radioactive. That can be good.
Oopsie.
Operation Canada Games.
Now, despite Murray's study of the log chopping guide, none of us are skilled enough to beat Jean Bison at his own game. So, though it pains me to say it, we'll have to cheat.
Why am I not surprised?
I mean, you know, we only steal stuff for a living, but cheating? That's terrible of us.
While he's chopping, I'll sneak the eagle egg into his trousers, and the protective parents should disturb his axe swings. Sly, given your ascension skills, I've signed you up for the ice wall climb. We'll keep Bison from beating your score by pulling him off the wall.
No one will notice this cheating, by the way.
And finally, I'll represent our team in the log rolling competition. With my knowledge of rotational mechanics, we're
log
sure
equals R divided by P or C, whatever.
So he has no chance.
Also, Jean Bison had black eyes for a second.
Ready? I say we head out and show these meathead lumberjacks what we're made of.
I'm sure nothing wrong will go on with this.
Again, thank goodness that the Claw Gang aren't looking out for the Sly Cooper Gang at this point.
Guys, let's head down there and win
Like,
those
you'd think
talons
that maybe alerts of the guys who took down the flipping Contessa might have warranted
that's because,
something.
again, we still don't know what the ultimate plan is. Sure, we know bits and pieces, but what's the ultimate deal? Well, that's what we need to know from eventual tackling Arpeggio in the next part.
Excuse me, sir. We humble lumberjacks.
Your accent is terrible, Bentley.
In your lumberjack games.
That's kind of a running gag. No one in the gang manages to pull a consistent good accent when they have to.
Sure enough, gonna let you play.
I get the idea you guys gonna have fun in what Sly has in mind on the subject in the next game.
Much obliged, partner. We'll just take our positions for the competition.
Enjoy the moment while you think you still got a chance. It's as close to winning as you'll ever get. This year's
Alright, first,
power chopping
axe chopping logs. Why not?
beat my record, but let them try.
I thought they were going to do the Superman theme.
This is pretty easy. Just, you know, wait for the symbol to arrive in the middle and then strike. And you don't even need to do like a lot of times. You need to just, you know, perform decently and you're good to go. There we go.
Not bad, Hippo.
10, 10, 10.
Yes.
Breaking a sweat.
Alright.
Now it's time for Jean Bison, but here's the thing, like Bentley said, now he needs to sneak the egg inside his pants.
And the angry eagle parent should swoop in.
Cheating.
Don't worry, Dweebs, as long as we don't see it happening, it's fine.
Well, we're definitely going high west with this soundtrack.
Yeah, I know, right?
You'd think we were trying out for the Magnificent Seven.
I get the idea that Peter McCullen had that idea in mind.
Oh yeah, you and Dwibs actually did a roundtable review of the new Magnificent Seven.
In hindsight, I was a bit too enthusiastic. Sure, it's still not a bad movie, but you know, both the original and the original Seven Samurai are still much better movies.
Yep.
Hey, have you seen the pseudo Magnificent Seven and Seven Samurai crossover, Red Sun?
Of course. No, but I get the idea that it was supposed to happen. Alright, let's see.
What? I think you better retake them scores, boys. What you intended to give me was perfect tens.
Yeah, here's the thing that the gang did not count out, the fact that Jean Bison threatens the fuck out of the judges, so this is a problem.
Oh, your pink friend knows how to handle an axe. Let's see how you handle a vertical wall of ice.
Well, we'll see, Dweebs. Bentley is gonna actually submit that question in a second.
Raise an objection to the board of directors for the for the Logsman Game Committee.
I guess.
Yeah. Because that's what Felix Wright was actually doing during his disbarment. He was part of that committee.
Pretty good for a scrawny raccoon. Now, watch and learn.
You meant to give them zeros.
Power.
Grr.
Surprisingly enough, he doesn't do that. You'd think that he would actually threaten to give lower scores to the opponent. I guess he's way too overconfident for himself. And yeah, this is the more blatant case of cheating. Now Murray is gonna pin the shit out of him, with the anchors. Yeah, and no one will notice that.
Well, gotta give John.
What can they not see the color brown?
I guess, or yellow.
Let's give Jean Bison credit. Despite being hooked down by 2, he's still moving like it means nothing.
Let's go with 3, hopefully. There we go.
I'm not gonna. Oh.
Dead.
Yeah, have a 0 for dying.
You have pulled the wrong cards again. Did I ever tell any of you the story about the judge from last year's competition who mistakenly gave me a score other than 10?
Yeah, this is definitely a problem.
I see you tied with only one event to go. Unfortunately for you.
So Jean Bison must have been one of those people so angry at anyone who dared to give Last of Us 2 anything lower than a 10.
Ooh.
Those three judges should be fired for.
Interesting you say. It's funny you say this, Thieves. Let's wait until Bentley finishes his round and we'll see what happens. This try is also pretty easy. Again, just the logs have a very telegraphed way when they actually go down, so you can actually move. And as long as you stay like in the center, you always have a backup of where to go if it goes down. Also, props for Bentley for.
Than most would be.
Sorry.
It's a little more forgiving than most would be.
Yeah. Props for Bentley for managing to do this while still holding his crossbow.
Yeah.
And now the picture for the meter looks like Optimus Prime's head.
Watch how a skilled log roller does it.
Okay, here we go.
Crazy. Jean Bison's got those judges so intimidated, there's no way he can lose.
You're right, Murray. Those guys need to go.
There's no way he can lose.
That's the thing. Yeah, Sly has your idea, Dweebs. The team will have to replace the judges on the spot.
You two will knock them out and take their
Yeah,
time to improvise
we'll be
again.
the judges because.
All 3 judges have been restrained. We'll be able to don our disguises and take their place at the judges' table. Sly, you can use the alarm clock gadget to distract.
Yeah, these guys are the bastions of integrity.
More like again, it's also another thing. When they have to improvise, the gang seems to be very desperate.
I mean, could you imagine if Phoenix Wright kidnapped Edgeworth or something and posed as him?
Well-
That's how he won all his trials.
Well, that depends on what kind of character you're trying to make with.
Well, yeah, if they wanted to make the character of Phoenix Wright a total dick who can't win anything
Well, that's
fairly,
what
then
Tigray was, wasn't it?
There we go. 2, 3.
Sorry, what was that, Siri?
That's what Tigray was for.
Yeah,
Who does he-
basically.
Yeah. He was that, except not for.
Oof.
And people
Yeah,
fall for that.
Perfect disguise.
Yeah, I'm sure no one will fall for that. Yeah. Well, wait a minute.
It's a
Where
com-
did your beaks go?
No. Actually, don't worry.
Bentley actually had a big disguise, but
Is it-
again, you'll see.
I guess, Shiro, it's one of those, it's a weird thing with story writing where suddenly the population the entire population gets bad eyesight whenever the writer feels it's convenient for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like how in The Snowman, the 2017 one, everyone in Oslo, for some reason, can't seem to notice when the snowman killer's right near them.
Alright, here we go. With this third one. Alright, let's see what happens.
What if someone accidentally gives him a 1?
I thought I warned you judges about the consequences for incorrect scores. Wait a second.
Oh
You
no.
are the judges I hired? It's the scrawny raccoon and
You
his
hired, eh?
Well,
That's sadly besides the point.
you just take 'em.
Oh,
Thank you.
And he killed us.
close enough, because this is the point where everything goes to shit.
Those talons
Okay,
really
so Jean Bison isn't as dumb as we thought he would be.
How to hide a secret, place it in plain sight.
Yeah, I'm awake, but not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
Where are we? What's going on?
This looks like the sawmill control
Where?
room.
What? Why?
Bison must have thrown us in here for interrogation later. I, for one, would like to escape before he returns.
It looks like we're pretty well sealed in here. Unless...
Thank God he left us with all our gadgets and
unless you
everything.
can fit
Not
them
just
in.
that,
Yeah.
it's also good terrain, because we're about to get actually one of the better boss fights in the entire game, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
If there's any trouble, I'll call with this walkie-talkie.
What is this walkie-talkie you speak of?
While you guys do that,
Next you're gonna tell me that people can talk through bricks, in great distances, like the Jetsons.
Maybe he thought they wouldn't wake up before he got back.
Sounds like a plan.
Close enough, you'll see in a second,
And remember
Shiro.
to shout if I can help
Well, I
you
mean,
from
we
up
see he's got a massive ego.
Yeah, that too. And again, it's a matter of its time, but it's shown it's not completely an idiot.
I can't see you from
Yeah.
here. I heard the fall.
I'll be fine. Just give me a moment to catch my...
Yeah.
well now, Candy Bridges. I should
Candy what?
Britches.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, I...
Hold on,
just
actually, it's
dropped my
important.
glasses, had to come pick 'em
You...
up.
I ain't like you, boy. I ain't stupid.
Stupid.
Just me and my
Are you sure?
visit
It's to show his accent.
Yeah, here's the problem. Jean Bison has managed to locate the hideout and take all the clockwork parts that can get collected so far.
whole lot.
Well, damn.
And not just that, he sold them to Arpeggio, which means now Arpeggio has all of the clockwork parts.
I wouldn't
Oh, crap.
expect one of your kind to understand the finer points of commerce.
You are an idiot.
Too stupid to know a woodcutter from a woodchuck.
Yeah, I think that's enough for Bentley's blood pressure.
You just how stupid we turtles really are. Slide
Okay.
by command.
I hear you.
Jean Bison is clearly too big for Bentley's bombs and tranquilizer darts, but the good thing is that the entire arena is full of death traps, so it's now your turn to activate traps on command. And now for the obligatory double innuendo that seems to be exclusive in my country for other words. One of the traps that you can use is the buzzsaws, and Bentley will shout the word saws, in order to do that. Here's the problem. The word saw, in my country, can be also interpreted as a slang for masturbation. So when Bentley yells very joyously the word in my country, it really sounds like you need to jack off.
I guess they didn't consider that.
That's the problem. We really don't have like a synonymous for the actual buzzsaw term. You think they will actually try to do one for occasion, but no. But
It's like how in some places of Japan, the same word for father also means breasts in their neck of the woods.
But again, weird trivia aside, this boss fight is pretty cool. You constantly have to be on the run. The traps have a cooldown, and you need to position yourself because the traps may hurt you as well. So you need to both always stay on the run, but also calculate the moment Jean Bison may arrive on one of the traps. And yes, we do inflict damage, but not a lot. So you need to basically dent him over constantly.
Cook 'em.
Okay. Eat dynamite, turtle.
Oh, seriously?
Oh boy.
Wait.
10-4.
Let 'em go.
This is also helped by, again, Peter McConnell's soundtrack. It gives such a different also variety to the boss themes, which is pretty cool. It's gonna be also a staple for the future games.
Wait.
But yeah, this boss fight is actually a very nice change of pace.
I actually don't remember too. Did Peter do the music for 4?
Yes,
Okay.
and I argue it's the best soundtrack of the entire franchise. So there's that. Because yeah, these are still like synth, if I recall correctly. But for 4, he actually has an orchestra to pull things off, and he goes full old school Looney Tunes. So
Yeah, that is true. I will give it that at least.
Tarnation! I've been done in by some 4-eyed turtle? Times have changed.
Once again, brains triumph over brawn.
of course.
Good job, little buddy. That was some fast thinking.
Don't forget about me!
Yes, very. You did stuff.
Did a great
Also, the
job
brawn
opening
on
that
your
door.
team seems to do quite well. What are you talking about?
Attention, Jean Bison. Arpeggio's carrier blimp will arrive to pick up the Northern Light battery in exactly 1 minute.
Oh shit. Now we have a count. Yeah, that's the sad part. Despite the victory, it's a Pyrrhic victory technically because the gang now doesn't really have anything, and the best chance that they have is to still use the battery in order to reach Arpeggio's blimp.
On the one hand, this does mean all the parts are in one place, so if we can go in and take them, this could be a big win for us.
And
Unfortunately,
yes, you actually have to race it through for the battery. You don't have the luxury of just skip to the cutscene.
and you have to do it playing as Bentley.
Yeah. To be fair, you do have the power-up that allows you to go faster if you want, but it's still doable. But I find it, it's okay the fact that they included it, it's not like a scripted sequence, you generally have to move your ass to get there. There's a trampoline there, you could have used it, whatever.
I just want to show off my amazing acrobatic skills.
Sure.
We'll go smuggle in the battery itself.
Mm-hmm. Which also means, sadly, one thing,
As we
which
shove
actually it's
ourselves
surprisingly
into the Northern
important,
Light
but
battery, it
you know, you
became
might not think it first.
For a few long
The party
minutes,
has
we
to
just
say
sat
goodbye
there
to
in
their van.
darkness. No one dared to talk for fear that Jean Bison's men might
And I
discover
can mention the
where
van
we
is
were
kind of like a character in
Time
itself,
seemed to have
so
stopped.
it's also another
And
sad
then
moment, as the game will say in a second.
We were being lifted up to Arpeggio's blimp. It was all so strange. The focus of all our schemes had been stolen from us. Our clockwork parts were gone. Looking around the inside of the battery, I knew we all felt it. Failure.
Oh.
I was twitchy and ready for action. Any action.
It's always a big
Let me
disgrace
try to
for
make some
Phantom
sense of the
Thieves when,
situation by
you know,
drawing
the
up
stuff that they
numerous
stole
plans.
gets stolen from
Murray-
them.
But
Murray
yeah,
took the worst.
Murray was too focused
He
on the
just
fact
sat
that
there
the van
sobbing
is
while the team
gone.
van floated
And yeah,
away
it's not
over
like
the
it stays
horizon.
there. The van
That
will
van
actually
was his
float
life.
away in a block of
I
ice.
knew I'd have to find a way to
Bye.
make it up to him.
That's sad.
Goodbye, van.
This is so depressing. Alexa, play something.
Well, don't worry, Taylor. Saying this line without context doesn't spoil anything. Well, well, Jova, she was like in Onward. She was just a battered old van anyway.
See you for the next part, which is the last episode and the epic conclusion of the second game. See ya.
So yeah.
See you
Yeah.
again.